Mario Kart World is upon us, and we already know basically all the tracks. The Direct is next week, but at this point, there's really no point in watching it, because you can just watch this video and see all 30 tracks that are coming to Mario Kart World. Now, we don't have footage for every single track, we're still working on that, but as of right now, we know every single track on this map. Yeah, that's right, map. But before we get ahead of ourselves, what are we going to be doing in this video? Basically, we're going to be going through all 8 cups, that's right, 8, not 7, cups in Mario Kart World, going through what tracks are in it, are there any retro tracks, and seeing some trailer, treehouse, and gameplay footage, and putting together all 30 tracks in Mario Kart World. Plus, there might also be some secret tracks on the map that aren't part of cups. This is all getting out of hand. We've got 7 days until the Direct, but right now we're gonna go through every single track in Mario Kart World. The first couple cups in this video are pretty easy to put together because they're already put together in the trailers. But later on in the video, I figured out how all the tracks go together that aren't already showed off. So without further ado, let's talk about the Mushroom Cup. The Mushroom Cup is by far the simplest cup in this video. We've already seen extensive footage of all 4 of these tracks. First is Mario Circuit, which is your basic first track. It shows you all the different gimmicks this game has, but what it also does is show you, after you race on it, the different intermissions between tracks. This is something that's very different from past Mario Kart games. In this game, you're going to be racing from track to track. This means you'll only be doing a couple laps on some tracks and driving in between all of them. The next track after Mario Bros. Circuit is Crown City. Crown City is a big city track that takes you on the highways, the skyscrapers, and all in between. Which we'll get to later in the video, is that it comes up a couple times. It seems to be one of the more bigger areas on the Mario Kart World map, so it'll be interesting to see this track specifically once the game comes out. After this, we have Whistle Stop Summit. This is basically a train track with a bunch of different rails to grind on. It's got a fairly similar look to Mario Bros. Circuit, but it draws more with the railway aesthetic, which I think looks pretty cool. Then after that is DK Spaceport. This by far is one of the coolest looking tracks in this game. This track is based on the original arcade Donkey Kong game, and has you going up basically the ladders of Donkey Kong to get all the way to Robo DK at the top of the mountain. And that's the Mushroom Cup. It may be a little simple, but I honestly love the vibes of all these tracks. I'm super excited about DK Spaceport and Crown City to be specific. Then after that, we have the Flower Cup, which the Flower Cup seems to be more of a retro track cup. Now, in this game, retro tracks kind of flow in and out of cups. There's no real, like, this is a retro cup, this is not a retro cup. However, this one is filled with classic retro tracks that we've all been dying to see. Well, I don't know how many people have been clamoring for Desert Hills, but it is kind of interesting that we got this track. I honestly think they kind of just picked this track because it was a desert track that they could fill into the world map. However, after that, we've got Shy Guy Bazaar. And Shy Guy Bazaar has been one I specifically have been clamoring for forever in these videos. I just love the way this track looks. I don't even remember how good of a layout it is, but I just remember loving the music on this track, and I'm super excited that it got brought back for this game. Then we have Wario Stadium. And Wario Stadium is actually a super interesting one. Wario Stadium is the last Mario Kart 64 track to become a retro track in a future game. And they kind of butchered this one here. I'm not gonna lie, I don't love that they kind of just shortened the track and gave it the Rainbow Road 64 treatment and shortened the crap out of it, but I guess it's kind of understandable because if you've ever played Wario Stadium on the N64, that track just goes on and on and on. However, I am super excited it got brought back, if not for just consistency's sake, just to get all the N64 tracks out of the way. But yeah, this is a super interesting track that they brought back. Then finally, the one people were crying over in the Booster Course Pass, we've got Airship Fortress. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying that they've kind of changed all these tracks in various ways. However, I think this track is very true to its original form. There is this one jump here before you go to the actual airship, but from what I can see, this might just be a ramp from the intermission part of the Grand Prix. I think this is a perfect way to end the second cup in this game, and I'm super excited to see them all in their HD glory. Then the Star Cup. We actually got a full treehouse showing off the entirety of the Star Cup. From everything we've seen so far, this cup specifically has sold me on this game. First, we've got DK Pass, and the ski resort aesthetic they added to it just fits perfectly. This track is pretty true to form and feels like a classic retro track that they just polished up, made it super pretty, and it's honestly super interesting to see it return after what we got in 8 Deluxe with Mount Wario and DK Summit. I didn't really expect them to bring back DK Pass because those two other ski mountain tracks are seen as some of the best in the series, but DK Pass is a sneaky good track. It's the first ski track they ever did, and I'm super excited to see how they fit it into the overall world. Then we have Starview Peak, which, if we're being honest, might be the prettiest track in this game. I don't know, we haven't seen everything yet, but a galaxy track, like, are we kidding? We're getting something based on the Comet Observatory. It kind of reminds me of like an icy rainbow road. That doesn't make sense, but there's not many rails on it, so it's got a bit of difficulty to it. Star Cups have notoriously been some of the best cups in each of their games, so I think so far they've nailed the track selection here. However then, we get Sky High Sunday, and I'm cautiously optimistic. Sky High Sunday wasn't one of the most well-received tracks from the Booster Course Pass. However, I never truly hated it. Yeah, it was super boring, just being like 3 loops on 8 Deluxe, but when you think about it, it's one of the most unique concepts for a track, being based on like desserts, which I think is cool. But even if we're talking layout here, they kind of spruced it up completely. They kind of gave it the 8 Deluxe treatment, ironically, here, with multiple different routes to take on the sharp turns. I don't think people should be that upset about Sky High Sunday returning. I think this could be a really big upgrade for this track. And then lastly, we've got Wario Shipyard. Dude, it looks so good. It's the water here. You get to trick off of the water. Are we kidding me? The ship itself looks absolutely haunting, and this just shows that the Switch 2 can handle some insane graphics here, because Wario Shipyard in Mario Kart World compared to Wario Shipyard on the 3DS, it just looks night and day. Then we've got the Shell Cup, which I'm not too sure how I feel about just yet. At the start, we've got Koopa Troopa Beach from Super Mario Kart, and if I'm being completely honest, I'm not super clamoring for those old 2D tracks. I guess I can see the appeal of doing like a simple first track on the beach. It could be kind of nice, but this isn't one that I really think they should have brought back. They brought it back in the past. It's not like it's one we haven't seen before. So we'll see what we get when we get the game, but I'm not super excited about this track. Then we have Faraway Oasis, and Faraway Oasis I think could be pretty cool. It's kind of a simple track from what I can see, but the savannah aesthetic with a bunch of animals running around, like, I can't hate it too much. But Faraway Oasis, I think, is one of those tracks that I'm just gonna have to wait and see when we get the actual game to see what are the shortcuts here. Are there gonna be a lot of ways to gain on people here? But I do like the savannah, like, safari aesthetic here. Then we have Crown City again, which I brought up earlier that some tracks will be used in multiple cups. But from what I can see, I think there will probably be different layouts for each of these doubled tracks. As the Crown City in the Mushroom Cup, you actually come from the west, but from the Crown City in the Shell Cup, you come from the east. I don't know how different these tracks will be, or if they'll be different at all. From what I can see, Crown City seems to be like the big main city in this game, so in free roam mode, I bet it'll just be like a normal city you can drive around, but in Grand Prix and Versus mode, there'll be kind of different layouts where it'll take you different ways around the city. I think it'll be kind of interesting to see what we get when the game comes out. Then finally, to end the Shell Cup, we have Peach Stadium, which is the track that shows up right before the title logo in the trailer. Personally, I don't really see anything too appealing about it so far. It kind of seems like just the center point of Mario Kart World, as like everything kind of surrounds Peach Stadium. But I could see it being kind of interesting. You drive through Peach's castle just like you did in Mario Circuit for the 3DS. From the footage I have right now, I really only see the intermission version of Peach's Stadium, but once we get a full look of like the actual full layout of Peach Stadium, I think we'll get a better feel for what this track is. But from all the footage I see, I think this could be a really interesting track. It seems to be one of the main ones they're trying to push in the marketing of this game, so I think it could be a standout. Now next is the Banana Cup, and every cup after this hasn't officially been confirmed by Nintendo in any of their trailers or Treehouse footage, but in all of the gameplay footage we've gotten from like, you know, third-party sources, we can kind of tell that these are the layouts for all of these tracks. So take it with like a smidge of salt, but not a full grain. Like, these are probably going to be the layouts, but like if they aren't, you know, don't yell at me. First is Peach Beach, and Peach Beach is returning for, I think this is the 3rd time. It first appeared in Mario Kart Double Dash and then came back in Mario Kart Wii. Peach Beach is just an absolute classic track. I love the cataquacks on this one, and it really is just like one of those fun, you know, good time tracks. It's not too difficult. which makes sense to put at the beginning of a cup, but I am very excited to see this one return. Then is Salty Salty Speedway, which might have one of my favorite names for a track like ever. I don't know, I just love the triple alliteration and like salty. I don't know, it sounds kind of cool. This track looks kind of interesting. I am kind of excited to see it. The next, Dino Dino Jungle, looks really interesting here. It's returning for the first time since Mario Kart 7, and they've changed it basically completely. They gave it the whole Jurassic Park vibe here, where it's no longer a track set in the past, but a track set in present day with dinosaurs through science. I'm super excited about this change. I love Dino Dino Jungle, the original, and I'm a big Jurassic Park fan, so mushing them together and remixing this track for Mario Kart World is just a match made in heaven. I'm super excited to see this one return. Then we've got Great Question Block Ruins, and number one, I hate the name of this track. I think it's almost there, but having a question mark in the name kind of just like irritates me. It just looks ugly, but the track itself looks kind of interesting, I'm not gonna lie. It kind of reminds me of DK Jungle Ruins from 3DS and 8 Deluxe. It kind of does seem like redundant. We've kind of seen something like this before, but having a track based on the question mark block is pretty cool to begin with. Depending on the full layout of this track, it could be one of the standout tracks in this game. Next is the Leaf Cup. I'm not gonna lie, this might be the best cup in the game. We don't know, we haven't played any of them, so I don't know if the tracks are any good, but from the looks of them, holy crap, they look super unique. We got Cheep Cheep Falls, and this track, from the looks of it, it kind of looks like a autumn-themed track set with Japanese architecture on like the water. It's a bunch of things mishmashed together, but all in all, it looks really, really good. It kind of shows off the kart transformations into water, which could be really, really cool on this track, so I'm super excited to see it in this game. Okay, then after that is Dandelion Depths, which in my opinion still looks cool, but is like a step down from Cheep Cheep Falls. It is kind of odd because they're both autumn tracks set right next together, which is my main concern with this game. My biggest concern is that some tracks in cups kind of blend together, which, duh, that's what this game is Mario Kart World. The tracks have intermissions that blend together, but in a way where some tracks like have basically the same theme, but slightly different, where is this even a new track, or is it just an extension of Cheep Cheep Falls at this point? I don't hate Dandelion Depths. From the looks of it, Dandelion Depths looks like a intriguing track. I'm not sold on it, I'll have to play it, but it is something that I'll keep my eye on for sure. Then we got Boo Cinema. It's cinema. It is one of the most unique tracks I think we've ever seen. And I haven't even played it, but I'm so down for whatever this is. It basically seems to be based on like black and white old horror films, which is great because they got boos all over this thing. One of the coolest parts of it is when you're driving, you drive into the film screen and then ride on an actual film reel. They took all of their creativity and put it directly into this one track. I love the inspiration for this track. I love the theming of this track. I want every track to have a theme this unique. I can tell they just injected so much love into this track, and I'm so excited to play when this game comes out. Then after that is Dry Bones Burnout. And finally, we got a Dry Bones themed track. We've been waiting for this for years. I know all of us have been crying about Dry Bones for the past 8 years, but today's the day. Dry Bones gets his own track, and it looks really cool. We haven't seen a lot of footage of it yet, to be fair, but it does look really interesting, and it kind of just puts a bow on the Leaf Cup as a whole. It is a little weird because it crosses kind of over Acorn Heights a little bit, so I'm wondering how exactly they're going to get that to work. It is one of the longer intermissions in this game that does cross over basically an entire track. I'm interested to see how that turns out, but all in all, the Leaf Cup looks great to me. But if we're talking fan favorites here, the Lightning Cup is where it's at. First off, we got Moo Moo Meadows. It's the third time it's been on a home Mario Kart console in a row. And what do they have for Moo Moo Meadows? I don't have anything wrong with Moo Moo Meadows, but did they just add it so they can add cow? Like, it is one of those tracks that is super iconic at this point. If you told a random Mario Kart fan that wasn't like a super fan, hey, name a Mario Kart track, first would be Rainbow Road, and then second I think would be Moo Moo Meadows at this point. I do like it, and I'm excited to see it back. However, one that I'm really surprised to see back is Choco Mountain. We just got it in the Booster Course Pass, which obviously there's plenty of Booster Course Pass tracks in here. You've got Sky High Sunday, for example, but I'm just I don't really see the appeal of it. The only reason I think it could have been brought back is because there's the whole volcano mountain area near Bowser's Castle, so they needed something to be more between like the grassy area and the Bowser's Castle area. But to me, I'm not super stoked about it, but who knows, maybe the intermissions between the tracks will be fun. Specifically, the intermission between Choco Mountain and Toad's Factory. Oh my god, they actually did it. All of us been crying about Toad's Factory not coming back. The greatest Mario Kart track that wasn't in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is finally going to be in another Mario Kart game. It is by far one of the coolest tracks they've ever done. You get to see how the item boxes are made, like, duh. But no, the layout of the track is super fun. The intermissions between Choco Mountain, Toad's Factory, and the next track we're going to talk about are no doubt going to be some of the coolest in this game just from the way they're set up. I really am so happy to see this. I'm so happy to get Toad's Factory music in this game, and I'm just so happy to see it return. However, after Toad's Factory, we're getting a brand new Bowser's Castle, and you know, everybody knew a Bowser's Castle was gonna come, but it looks pretty decent. We don't have much footage of it, to be fair. When has a Bowser's Castle been bad? It's Bowser's Castle. There's gonna be lava. There's gonna be metal grates everywhere. There's gonna be a Bowser spitting fire. Like, we know how this is gonna go, and it's probably gonna be pretty good. And that is the end of the 7 cups that we know of so far. However, there is 100% an 8th cup, and we all know what the 8th cup is going to be called. It's the Special Cup. It's a Special Cup. It's not going to be unlocked at the beginning of the game. However, we've already seen footage of 2 of the tracks already, but due to some leaks, we kind of know how this is going to go. We see Acorn Heights at the top of the map, and so far, it's not in any other cup. We got Mario Circuit under it, which is super interesting. We'll get to it in a second. Peach Stadium, which is already in another cup, but we'll probably get a remix here. And then, of course, Rainbow Road to finish off the cup. Acorn Heights kind of reminds me of like a Wild Woods from 8 Deluxe, but a little bit different, a bit more like tricks to do here. It kind of gives like a mystical beanstalk kind of vibe to it. It does look really interesting. It does kind of give Special Cup vibes. Then we have Mario Circuit from Super Mario Kart. And this one is really interesting because it's actually a mishmash of Mario Circuit 1, 2, and 3 from that game. This is the first time they've ever kind of put 3 of those old tracks together, and it kind of is a no-brainer. Those tracks are some of the simplest in all of Mario Kart, and doing one of these kind of just feels like a cool homage, and the fact that it's going to be in the Special Cup is a really cool idea. Then Peach Stadium, which appears to be the track that is kind of surrounding the marketing around this game. Again, I don't know how this track is going to be, but from the looks of it, it seems important, so I guess it can be in the Special Cup. And then after that, of course, Rainbow Road. We have no clue what it looks like. That'll probably be shown off in the direct, if not just unlockable in the game. But no doubt Rainbow Road is in this game. From what we know, this is probably what the Special Cup's going to look like, and to me, you know, again, I haven't played any of these tracks, but they look super fun, so I'm excited. However, this is not all that we've seen. There appear to be secret courses in this game. Yeah, secret courses. These appear to be inspirations for intermissions in this game. Basically, during the intermissions, you'll be able to drive what appears to be basically an homage secret portion of these old tracks. Like specifically right here, you can see this turn where they drive past these Super Mario Kart blocks on the side of the road. That is kind of like an homage of Vanilla Lake here. There's also the big donut right here before you get to Choco Mountain. Again, we don't know if this is true or not. It appears you'll be able to drive on these secret courses or at least homages in between the different tracks. But yeah, those are all 30 tracks and 8 cups in Mario Kart World. If you have anything to add, please leave it in the comments below. I'll be sure to reply to as many comments as I can. And if you enjoy the video, hit subscribe. We're trying to get to 300,000 by the time Switch 2 comes out, and we'd really appreciate it. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to watch this video talking about all the characters in Mario Kart World. It's just as interesting as this one, if not even better, so go do that. And with all that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.